server. And next section is databases, system databases. As I told, we do have master, MSDB, model, StemDB. This one I did not mention. Sandeep is having question here. If we are not setting a secondary group default, then where SQL will store data? Primary is default. Primary by default, default file group will be for primary. Okay. Standard system databases, master, model, MSDB, and temp. I did not talk about this resource database. You cannot see the resource database in this SQL server actually. You cannot see resource database here. I'll tell you what is the resource database. Let me come to the master. This master database records all the system level information. See, I told you this entire instance is having some security. Logins, it will be having logins, and it will be having metadata, login accounts, endpoints, so many system configuration settings are there. Everything will be sitting in master, and this master internally connecting to the one more database, internal database. I would say that is an internal database, which name is resource database. System objects. I would say this is not a database. This is simply a internal database. You cannot see that even. This by default system objects are stored in resource database. In previous editions, they were storing in master. I think 2005 onwards, they set up resource database. All that you can see is for your information purpose only. I'm showing you this this resource database. It will be sitting in bin location. See, you can see here. MS SQL server, MS SQL system resource. See here. These are the files of resource database. So internally, master database uses this resource database for catalog information. Like in Oracle system objects, everything will be stored in system database. So let me try to query. Our master database. You can see here. And default name for the master database will be DBID, TempDB DB2, TempDB2, and model 3 and MSDB 4 and test in the user defined. These are the 4 by default it will come, and the 5th one will be your user defined, will start from 5. Whenever you create a user database, the DBID starts from 5. Next one is MSDB database. This MSDB database stores information about our SQL Server agent. All jobs, whatever you are setting up, will be stored in MSDB database. Let me do one thing. Let me take a backup of this one. I took a backup of this one. Let me justify that my junior DBA deleted a job. from my SQL Server agent. So I don't have any jobs here. So it's gone. How can you get it back? What you need to do is it's not good. One second, guys. I'm just restoring my MSDB database from the backup. Should not take much time. So the main aim of showing this restore is actually MSDB full database restore. Some error I'm getting. The reason why I was getting error, no, I did not close the existing connections to the database. Anyway, it is completed successfully now, restore. Let me refresh here. See, I got my job back here. What I've done here, I took my MSDB database backup. Suppose you'll be facing this often in your real-time environment. You lost your job, you have some jobs scheduled, and one of your junior DBA, someone has by mistake, they deleted the job. How can you get back the job? I want to show you the demo. For demo purpose, I deleted this job, and with the backup of my MSDB, I restored the MSDB database, and then I got my job back. This is how this is how MSDB database stores the, you can restore the MSDB database, your jobs from the MSDB database. So main purpose of MSDB database is, main purpose of this MSDB database is, it stores the job information, and all SQL Server agent, whatever the information of the SQL Server agent will store that information. And someone asked me in the demo, the database can grow up to 524 terabyte, almost 5 petabytes actually, 524 to 58 terabytes. Any database SQL Server can grow up to 524 to 58 terabytes. That is the maximum growth of, maximum size of the database. So model database. See, if I want to create any new database, suppose in model database, properties, add, or else instead of adding, what I'm going to do, I'm going to change any modification. I'm going to do any modification. I mean, suppose auto growth is there. Instead of putting it in megabytes auto growth, file auto growth of the file auto growth, I'm putting it in percentage. 10%. Okay. Okay. And previously, when I created test database, was 1 MB. Now I change the model database as 10%. Let me try to create a database now. Test model. Obviously, you see here, it came to 10%. Sadish is leaving now, I think. I'll be sharing you. Sadish, I will be having another 8 minutes time. The rest of the things I'll cover in the next session actually. Another 8 minutes we'll be having, that's it. If you guys want me to stretch for in another hour, I'm ready to stretch. Okay. I changed the information of model database and I tried to create a new database. What I changed the auto growth. I changed the auto growth as 10% in model database. Whenever I try to create a new database, it's automatically coming up as 10%. So what we understand from this, whatever you do changes in model database, it's like a template database to the new databases. If you try to create a new database, whatever settings are there in model, they will be imposed to the new database. So model database is a template for all databases, new databases which we are going to create. So TempDB is like TempDB, just like our temporary table space in Oracle. And important thing is
one question. If we have some table in the model database, then what will happen? It will copy those tables also. When
let us try to create. But it is useful for if you want to put suppose it's a really good question actually. Suppose in our environments, the production environments, we used to create a tables for we have our default user for monitoring purpose. We used to put monitor daemon. Monitor daemon is our user which is having which is used to monitor entire SQL server. It is a customized our own company written script. It is the script. What it will do, it will try to grab the all information and it will try to put in the same database the database data information, our customized user information, everything, whatever you want to alerting information, everything in the same database. So for that purpose, we need to create some tables. We need to create some tables for this monitor daemon in each and every database. As Ajay asked the question, if I create a table in model, it should automatically impose the same table to the new database. Let me try to do that. I never tried, in fact, and let me try to do that. Okay, the table came. Let me try to create a new database now. But it came. Thanks, Ajay. Thanks for the good question.
Yeah.
So it's a template. Yeah, it's a whatever table I created in model.
Yeah.
It came to the test model database.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's really useful in case of I told you live example what we are doing in our environment. We used to create a particular database. Our daemon will use to store our database. Suppose backup information if you want to store log information. though it is there in our logs, SQL Server logs, we want to put some customized things, success this message we want to put. So for that purpose, for our internal reports, we'll be pulling up the data. For that purpose, I need to create a table in each and every database for that backup information. So in that case, this model database, if you create a tables here itself, this will be this will be popping up, composing into the new database whatever we are creating newly. That is a model database. And temporary database is same like our SQL Server temporary is for sorting purpose, and same like our temporary table space in SQL Server. And if somebody is asking you what is the uptime of your SQL Server, all that you need to do is, that's a tip I'm giving you here. All that you need to do is get the startup time of the database created. This temporary database, every time if you restart the SQL Server, it will recreate the temporary table space. SQL Server will recreate temporary table space. So what you need to do, if you want to see the uptime of the temporary table space, just go ahead and check the creation date of your temporary database. This is uptime of startup time of your SQL Server. So these are and at the time of after installation, the reason why I did not show you the installation first, I want you guys to be well versed with some components at least before installation. That is the reason why I chosen this topic first instead of going to the installation. So standard system databases, master, MSDB database, model database, resource database, and TempDB database. These are the default standard system databases. So it's 10 o'clock now. If you guys want me to cover planning of next section also, I'm ready to cover. Or if you want me to cover in the next session, I'm ready to do that. It's up to you guys. About it. SQL Server services we talked. Physical architecture we talked about data files and tables, databases, and file placement strategies means you can, as I told you, you can place your data file in one disk and you can place in another disk. By that, if you have more IO on one table, you can put it in a separate disk. Like that, you can create a file groups and put it in separate disk. So this is all about the groups, file groups, and storing your table in it. And SQL Server Management Studio, some of the components we talked, we have seen today, like how to do all these, creating the database, new database, and adding the new data file. All these, my intention of putting the SQL Server Management Studio here is, making some interaction with the Management Studio slowly, and we'll be having some idea. So we'll continue tomorrow, next session, and my task is Satish and Ajay ask some questions. I'll leave tomorrow, or else the next session, next weekend, I'll try to answer those questions.